Welcome to Am I That Earring Edition. I'm an earring lover with a lot of opinions, and I'm here for the drama, so get comfy because we're about to dive into the first story. Before we start, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on more jewelry and drama. Am I that for not caring about my girlfriend's broken earring? We're gonna need more context for me to make a proper assessment, but I think if your girlfriend is upset about something and you're not concerned for why she's upset about it, that could be a red flag in itself. But I'm gonna have to see if there's a reason why they don't care. I have a history for losing and breaking things, to which my girlfriend has summarized as my lack of care for things and a lack of responsibility. Already not off to the best start. I left a gold ring in a cafe 2 days ago and woke up realizing it wasn't on my finger. Honestly, that's so relatable. That's happened to me before, and it's one of those things where it's like you think it's on you and then you check and then it's not and you're like, oh shit. I called them up this morning and they said they had found it and are safe keeping it for me until I can go back and pick it up. My girlfriend says I get so lucky that I lose things like a gold ring and somehow always manage to find it. Okay, I'm starting to feel like you're not the and I'm starting to feel like your girlfriend is just jealous that you're lucky. Emphasis on me being so lucky all the time on the luckiest person she knows. Okay, yeah, it's getting a little weird for me. About 2 hours after the phone call, one of her earrings breaks. I'm not the best at showing empathy and said that it sucks and oh no, and asked her questions about it to show I care. She dropped a piece of it on a towel and I was helping her look for it. She then gives up and says to me it's a slap in the face that I can just lose a ring in a random cafe somewhere and call in and find it, and at the same time her earring that she has only taken in and out 4 times over the last 5 years that she takes good care of breaks on her. After this comment, that incorporated what happened to me and what's happened to her ring feels like a slap on the face to me and quite frankly unnecessary in 2 separate unrelated events. That's because it is unrelated events. I don't understand why she would bring my situation into it and juxtapose it with how she takes great care of her stuff. I feel like OP's girlfriend is building resentment in the relationship, and honestly I have to think it goes deeper than jewelry, because if it is solely based off jewelry, then the jewelry is going to be the end of this relationship. I'm calling it right now, because there's so much resentment building, and at a certain point with resentment you can't walk back from it. I would assume it's because OP's girlfriend feels like she's more like put together, more cautious with what she does, and OP isn't, and therefore she believes that she deserves better things than OP does. That's not a healthy mindset for a relationship. Like in a relationship you need to be a team, you should be partners, and like a win for you is a win for the relationship. And like I get it, because if my earring broke on me I would be upset too, and like sure, maybe in the moment like you make like a quick comment to your partner of like, oh shit, like you're so lucky, how come I don't have any of that luck? But this doesn't seem like it's a one-off remark. It seems like it's stemming from this internal resentment of feeling like, well, why do you get good things and I don't get good things? I feel like I'm better than you, so I should get better things than you. And it feels like it's stemming from this place where like OP's girlfriend is placing herself above OP in this relationship and then being upset that the universe isn't doing the same. And I don't know, it just feels weird. It doesn't feel like a healthy relationship if you ask me. I didn't respond at all to her comment. I just got out of the car and stopped engaging in the conversation. Honestly, good for you. Does that make me or am I correct in assuming her comment was unnecessary? It was. I lack the emotional intelligence to understand what's going on, unfortunately. I don't think OP is lacking emotional intelligence. I might actually argue that OP's girlfriend is lacking emotional regulation, because she's clearly feeling a certain way about OP and about the relationship, and instead of like having healthy productive conversations or like seeking the proper channels of help, she's spiraling about jewelry. And it just feels like if the girlfriend was emotionally mature, she would be able to have this conversation and be like, hey, I'm feeling some resentment over this, and like I don't want to feel this way, so like maybe could you like step up in this area of like, because I feel like in order for this resentment to be building, there's clearly something that OP is doing that the girlfriend doesn't like, and whether it's justified or not, like you can have a conversation about it. And it feels like that needs to be addressed, and we're just glazing over it because of the jewelry drama. So honestly, my final verdict is not the ass, but you two should either break up or get couples counseling, because there's something deeper going on here. And also I just hate how like sometimes in relationships the emotionally unregulated person will then project that onto the other person and say like you're not in tune with your emotions, and like maybe that's true in some cases, but in other cases it's like don't throw stones from glass houses. It's like sometimes maybe both of you need to work on it. Like maybe neither one of you were there, and putting yourself above your partner instead of like humbling yourself and saying we both need to work on this issue is why there is resentment building and cracks in the relationship. But honestly, like that's just my assumptions based on what I'm seeing in this post. I could be way off base, but definitely with this specific incident there's resentment building for some other reason, and that does need to be addressed. Am I the for giving my friend a Christmas present that her boyfriend thought was inappropriate? I, 19 male, got one of my friends, 20 female, a pair of earrings for Christmas. They weren't cheap, but they weren't insanely expensive either. We were hanging out with a group of friends on the 23rd when I gave them to her. When she opened the present, she said thank you and put them in her pocket. A few hours later, I got a text from her saying that she couldn't accept the gift as someone with a boyfriend. okay? I had no intention of this being seen as a romantic gift in any way. I gave all my friends I hung out with presents that day. I explained to her that I didn't like her romantically and that even if I did, I wouldn't try and get with her given that she already has a boyfriend. She just texted me back, okay, a bit later. I got a text from her boyfriend, 18 male, telling me I needed to fuck and stop trying to sleep with her. Okay, wow. There's just a lot of assumptions being made. I brought this up with some other friends, showing them the text, and they all said that she was being weird about it and that I was in the right. And when I brought it up with her, I saw her at work earlier today. She said it didn't matter what the intentions were because her and her boyfriend both felt like there was a romantic intention. If we're going with OP telling the truth in everything here, OP is not that, because jewelry does not have to be a romantic gift. It can be, but it also can just be platonic. It's one of those things where it's about like what you say and how you package it when you give it to the person. It's not really about the gift itself indicating romantic interest or not, unless I would say if it has hearts or like something romantic in it, that would be different. Like if it was a really intimate pair of earrings that would look like it's from a partner, I would say OP is the for that. But I think if it's just a normal pair of earrings, you got gifts for everyone and you're like, this person likes earrings, I'm gonna give it to her, and then this is the response, I would be taken aback by that too. So I don't think OP is that in this instance, but I do wonder if both her and the boyfriend are picking up romantic vibes from OP, if there is romantic interest there and OP is just trying to say that there's not. Now there's also the other side of the story where maybe there's a lot of jealousy within this relationship, and because OP gave her a gift, the boyfriend's reading too much into that. There also could be like an insecurity of maybe the boyfriend didn't get her as good as a gift, and so he feels like he's being one-upped, and therefore that's where the jealousy is coming out. So like in that instance, OP is still not that, and even if there was romantic feelings involved, I don't feel like OP is that, because at the end of the day, it's a gift. If you don't want the gift, you don't have to accept. It's not like OP was singling her out or trying to make her feel weird by getting her this gift, because he got gifts for everyone. I don't really feel like because someone gets you a gift, they're that. I think if there was like strings attached to it, or like if OP was flirting, he would be the for flirting with her while she's in a relationship. But by just giving the earrings, I don't think OP is. Honestly, I'm rereading the ages and all of them seem young, so it wouldn't surprise me if the boyfriend is just feeling jealous and therefore he like convinced his girlfriend that there's more here and OP is just trying to give a pair of earrings as a gift. If there really isn't any feelings on OP's end, I would not give this another thought. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. They need to like work out whatever the actual issue is that they're projecting onto you. I would just say try and keep your distance and just like move on from this event, because I think if you try and stay friends with them, this is just going to be an issue that keeps appearing, because they're always going to be accusing you of being into the girl when you're not. Would I be that if I don't take the earrings my mother is offering me? My mother, who is 49, is offering to help me, 29 female, to get my ears pierced and buy me some earrings. I know I should be grateful and she wants to do something for me like this and give me a gift, but there's something that's making me incredibly hesitant. I have a very intense fear of needles. Just thinking about the needle going into my ear is making me incredibly anxious. I've never gotten my ears pierced before and it's really freaking me out. But my mom is so insistent on me getting my ears pierced and I have no idea why. That is a little weird in my opinion. Even as someone who loves earrings, I think it's weird to be forcing someone to get it if they're not wanting it or not ready for it. I don't really understand why she's so insistent on me getting my ears pierced. While I don't want to come off as ungrateful to her by refusing the gift, will I be that if I decline her gift? So my verdict is, I don't think OP would be that, but I think it's all about how you approach this conversation with your mom and ask her why she's so insistent on you getting your ears pierced, like why she's like making this such a special gift, especially because OP is 29 years old. You're a grown woman at the end of the day. Like, your mom can't make you do anything, especially something like getting your ears pierced because of body autonomy. And if you're afraid of needles, like that's a very valid reason to not want to get your ears pierced. Now I could see why the mom might be confused if, and this is only if OP has expressed wanting to get their ears pierced before, wanting to wear earrings, and so in the mom's head it's like, oh, you want this, so let me do this for you. But if you're really afraid of needles, like you can buy clip-on earrings that look really good too, you know, like you can still have the jewelry fashion statement accessories without committing to putting a needle in your ear. And I think the reason I relate to this so much is because when I got my ears pierced, it was a little traumatic for me. Like, it was not a fun experience for me. It was painful, it hurt, I cried. I was like 7 or 8 at the time and it was something that I wanted, but like I don't think I understood like that could be painful. They literally had to trick me in order to to do the other side because I wasn't going to let them do the other side. And like, I'm grateful that like I did get my ears pierced because I love earrings. And like, if you told me I could only wear one type of jewelry for the rest of my life, it would always be earrings because I love that. But also OP is 29. She's a grown woman. She can make this decision for herself, and she might decide to get earrings at a later date. Some people, like, they can like temporarily power through it, and other people, it's like such an intense fear that they can't. And the only one who's going to be able to decide if it's worth doing or not is OP. So OP clearly wouldn't be that with rejecting this gift as a whole. I do think like you should have a respectful conversation with your mom about why you don't want to do it, what you're afraid of, and like express that you are appreciative of the gift and the gesture, but maybe there's something that you're not afraid of that she can get you instead. I think if you approach it with like, hey, I know you're offering this from a place of love and I love you for offering this, but let's find something else that's not gonna traumatize me. I think that would be a really good way to go about this. Would I be that if I asked my dad to get me a replacement pair of earrings? So I'm in college right now, and while I have some money saved up, it's pretty tight. I don't have a lot of leeway. My dad was basically broke this past summer due to our usual source of income stopping and him having to find a job. In that time, he's borrowed $900 from me. He's paid back $200 so far, and when my grandma gave me $500, I gave him $100. Since then, however, he finally found a job. It's dangerous work, but it pays enough for him to have a little bit more money than he needs. Recently, I came back for a break, and at my request from earlier in the year, he got me a $60 coat. He offered to get me an alarm clock too, but I have no use for one and said no thanks. Since he has more than enough money at the moment, I've hinted that I could use a little money for things like books and dorm supplies. However, he doesn't seem to be into the idea, which is unexpected but fair. I'm gonna hold my thoughts on that until after I finish this last paragraph. He's also replacing my falling apart fanny pack. He offered to get a $30 one, but I found a really nice one for $20. Would I be that I also asked for a $16 pair of earrings to replace the ones I lost, which I previously wore every day, and keep my piercings from closing? OP would not be that in this situation if she asked her dad to buy her earrings. First of all, $16 for earrings. I thought we were going to talk like real expensive gemstone type jewelries where they were going to be a lot more money, because OP started saying that her dad owed her $900. So I thought it was going to be like a couple $100 she was asking. $16 for a pair of earrings when he's only paid back $200 so far, and actually with the money from the grandma it seems like it was $1,000. I think that's okay to ask for. I feel like you're entitled to that. At the end of the day, like, you did let your dad borrow money, and until he's paid it all off, if you want him to like help you pay it off with buying you different things instead of giving you the money back, I think that's fair and valid if that's what you both agree on. And I think like the fact he's buying you other stuff is really good. I do want to circle back to him not wanting to buy you things for like books and dorm supplies, because I feel like he borrowed money from you. It's not really up to him what you choose to do with the money that he gives back to you. And like, it's great if you have things that you want to buy and he's like, okay, well, I'll buy it for you, take that off like the money I owe you. I think that's totally fair to do. But at the end of the day, like, if he didn't do that and he just gave you the money, you could buy it with like whatever you want. Or if he had never needed to borrow the money to begin with, that would be your money to do what you want with. So I don't feel like it should have any stipulations, unless it's like something wildly inappropriate for your dad to be buying you. Then I would just be questioning why you're asking your dad to buy it for you instead of just getting the money back from him. But I feel like that's really my only critique with it. At the end of the day, this is money he owes you. He shouldn't stipulate what you spend it on. And I think you're totally justified in asking him to buy you this pair of earrings because you broke the other ones. And it's like, you don't even need to have a justification like that. Like, if he has the money and if he's supposed to be paying you back for everything you paid him over time, and this is the way you found that works better for you instead of having the actual cash handed to you, then by all means do it. And the only thing I would kind of leave OP with is like, try and figure out why your dad's refusing to buy you like certain things, and see if there's a logical reason of like why he doesn't feel like you should spend money on that. Like, maybe he's trying to help you like treat yourself or something, and it's like your dorm room doesn't need it, you deserve like these things that's gonna last longer than just your college years. Or if it's stemming from like a place of like controlling what you can and can't spend your money on, because at the end of the day, like, yes, he's buying it for you, but this was your money first. Am I that for not supporting my boyfriend in his new interest of earrings? Right off the bat, I'm gonna assume so, but let's read more and see if I'm right. Hello, I apologize in advance for any spelling mistakes. English is not my first language. Totally valid. My boyfriend, 19 male, and I, 19 female, have been together since junior year of high school. I'm now in college and he has graduated from a shorter program. We are currently long distance, about 10 hours away, and it has not been easy, but we manage. For the past, I want to say 4 months, he has all of a sudden gotten this great interest for tech kind of clothing. He has always liked it and owns a few pair of nice cargo pants, but these tech clothes are super different from what I'm used to seeing on him. But 8 months ago, he was into jeans and a t-shirt and a flannel, and this is almost a 180 from that. And I know I have to get used to change, but I feel as though I'm the asshole because I don't like it. I feel incredibly horrible because I don't like the style at all, and that's not fair to him. I feel as though some of this stuff might be influenced by his friend, and he's a great guy, but that has always been his style, and even then, it's more streetwear than tech. I don't want to stop my boyfriend from being who he is, but at the same time, it seems as though he's a totally different person than from 8 months ago, for example. I understand that since we started dating at 16, we are growing up together, and so I have seen many of his eras, but they were all similar, and this is very different. Hold on, I just want to see how old OP's boyfriend is. So they're both 19. So they're both still very young, and there's a lot of changes that they're going to be going through as they find themselves. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. He also expressed his interest in getting earrings, which came as a huge surprise to me. Again, I think he's influenced by his friend, but his friend can pull it off. I don't think that my boyfriend can pull them off, and I feel horrible for thinking that. He brought the earrings he wanted in the mail, and I got to see them in person versus the picture that I got from the website earlier, and I don't like them at all. His earrings are longer than mine. They don't match his face, they don't look good, and I don't have the heart to tell him that, but he can probably see it in my face and hear it in my tone of voice, and I feel like the worst girlfriend in the world because I'm not supportive towards him, and I feel like I'm not allowed to have a say in it because it's his body, his style, and his choices, and I would feel hurt if he didn't like something that I wear and that I like, but I would understand and choose not to wear it around him. But earrings are different. I can't expect him to take them out every time we see or FaceTime each other. I feel so bad because I love this boy with all my heart, and I would never do anything intentionally to hurt him, but I hate them so much. I wish I liked them, but I don't. I picture him wearing them in pictures or when he's on top of me or just eating dinner, and I can't like them, and I feel horrible for it. Call me a horrible girlfriend if you will. Just please be nice, as I'm still human and have feelings. I just don't know what to do. Has anybody else ever been in this situation before? Okay, so before I read the edits, I just want to kind of like say all my initial thoughts. Right now, I do feel like OP is that, but I also want to be a little bit kind to her because she's very much aware that like what she's feeling isn't nice, and I don't think it's coming from a malicious place. I think it really is just like, oh shit, I'm not attracted to him in this style anymore, and I don't know what to do. And I also feel like it's really difficult when you're with someone when you're so young and before you have found yourself to know how to navigate life when something occurs that you didn't plan for. Because what I'm assuming is happening, OP had this image up her head of like her boyfriend and the man he was going to become, and he is going in a different direction than that, and that's valid. But it's almost like OP is in love with the memory of him or like what he could be instead of like who he's showing he is. And that might just be indicating they're not compatible anymore. Like maybe the 16-year-old versions of them were. The 19-year-old versions of them might not be. And I say this because at the end of the day, you do need to be attracted to your partner. If there's one piece of clothing that you don't like, you could say, it's not my favorite. I don't find it super attractive, and like let your partner know that. But like that doesn't mean they're gonna stop wearing it. And it also doesn't mean that you're not attracted to your partner in general, because it's just like a small aspect of them. This seems bigger than that. This does not feel like it's one shirt that you don't like. This feels like the overall style and aesthetic that OP's boyfriend is finding for himself is not one that she finds attractive. Maybe I'm stretching, but I take that as like the man that your boyfriend's becoming is not a man that you find attractive. And at the end of the day, like you need to be attracted to your partner. So I feel like OP kind of needs to like break up with him if it's that big of a deal. Like if it's to the point where you're like, I don't feel supportive, I don't like this, I've tried to like it and I don't, and I find it really like unattractive. Eventually, like if you have so much disdain for your boyfriend's style and the things that he likes, you're gonna start to project that onto him. And I just don't feel like it's healthy for the relationship. I don't think it's fair for OP to have to be in a relationship if she's not feeling that attraction, but it's also not fair for OP to expect her man to change because she's not attracted to it. Like I said, if there's one item that you're not like super vibing with, that's fine, but it's like your person is still gonna wear it. And like maybe when they wear it, you're like, okay, -1 point on the scale of attractiveness, but you're still attracted to like who they are. With the way this is going, it's just on track for disaster because OP is like clinging on to like what she wants him to be instead of who he is. Like I said, I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it, but that's just my initial feelings right now. You let me know in the comments down below if you agree, if you understand what I'm saying. I just feel like there's a bigger issue brewing underneath the surface here that goes a lot deeper than just like the style of clothing that he's wearing. Because also OP is saying like his friend wears similar styles and it's not an issue. When her man wears his tech clothes, all of a sudden it's an issue. I don't know. It feels like maybe there's a loss of attraction for your man in general that you're equating to his style and not to him. And like you're not seeing the actual cause of this new set of feelings that's stirring up inside of you. Let's go ahead and read those updates and see if anything else changes. Edit. Thank you guys for your input. There are a few things I would like to clarify because it seems as though I didn't express my feelings in the correct way. It might be the language barrier. I don't mean to blame his friend for influencing him. It's hard to explain. I should have left it out in the first place because it's hard to put my thoughts into words. I don't blame anybody. His friend had the style before my boyfriend did, and that's fine. I thought it more influenced because it came out of the blue to me after his friend got the earrings. Honestly, I kind of understand what OP is saying here, and I didn't take it in like a negative way. I think it's very natural to be like, oh, you met this friend and now you're doing something that this friend also does. Yes, they influence you, but it's not in like a malicious way. It's just like, this is how the chain of events happen. It's like this friend introduced OP's boyfriend to this style, and it's like that's more stated as like a fact and just like a chain of events, and not so much to be like, and this person's responsible too. I'm not sure why people correlate the fact that I don't like his earrings to mean that I don't like him, or that I like him only for his looks. Okay, it's me. I'm one of these people that read into that. I love my boyfriend more than anyone can imagine. That's why I'm putting up with long distance and hope that we can be together in person all this time someday. Yes, we're young, but I'm in love, so why would I leave him if there's no good reason? As I had mentioned in a comment to a very nice person, if you don't like the color purple and your significant other started to wear the color purple all the time, would that make you think less of them? It shouldn't. And I don't think less of my boyfriend for having earrings. I'm more upset at myself for not being on board with them no matter how hard I try and gaslight myself into liking them for him, because I want to be supporting in everything he does. Earrings are just a big change when you've known him for 6 years and he never had earrings. 3, at the end of the day, my issue isn't with his style, it's with myself for not liking his style. I don't like him any less because he likes one style and I like another. Some people are right. I think it's confusing me a little extra because I'm not there to see all the changes that are happening because we live so far away. I see him once a month, if not once every 2 months, and though we talk a lot, we also have conflicting work schedules which don't make it easy as well. Thank you to those who are kind with what they're saying and aren't jumping to conclusions that I only like my boyfriend for his looks or that I'm shallow for not liking the way he dresses. I don't think you're shallow. I think it's completely valid. I just think there might be something deeper under the surface. It's all new to me and the changes are happening without me, and it's hard to grasp the new when you're used to the old. I hope this helps to clarify some things in the comments. Okay, so for me, like, I understand the edits. I don't believe that OP is like a bad person for feeling this way. And like, I don't think it's nice if anyone was like hating on her for like expressing her feelings, because she clearly is trying to express them in a way so she doesn't end up hurting her boyfriend. I think the thing I still stand on though is that OP might be more in love with the idea of him or like who he was and not who he is now. And you can grow to love like who your partner is now. I think if there's like a lot of honest conversations and reflections and conversations and communication between them, I think this is an issue that could be worked out, where maybe it's not that OP isn't attracted to it, but just like isn't used to it and it's just a timing thing. But if it really is a thing where like you have sat with yourself and you're like, I don't find this attractive, at a certain point it is going to infiltrate the relationship. Because going to like OP's analogy with the color purple, it's not like they're just wearing something, it's like an indication of who they are and who they're becoming and like their personality. I'm sure this is going deeper than just not wearing the same clothes. I feel like it's also like changing different interests, different hobbies. That's fine. That's something that happens as we all grow up. Like, we're always like evolving and like realizing like, oh, you know what, I don't actually like this anymore, I like this instead. But it just feels like if it's like something that's so incompatible and like if you're growing into opposite directions, you can't really grow together unless you're like willing to do the work. And I don't have enough context to say like if this is a strong enough relationship that could take that amount of work that it needs in order to be like very functional and get everyone back to the same page that it was on before. I think it's a lot easier to deal with this type of issue or conflict in a relationship when you're not long distance, because you're able to always like feel like you can express yourself and you're not bottling stuff in. Because I think an issue with long distance is that it becomes very easy for people to not communicate and for them to keep their true thoughts inside. And it's like when you keep everything bottled up, eventually it starts to like brew, and it can take something that really isn't that deep, like his new clothes or the earrings that you don't like, and it can become much deeper than that because it festers. So that's what I'm looking at, is like the long-term trajectory. I don't really see how this doesn't turn into like eventual not being attracted to your boyfriend, even though it's not there yet. This is something that truly needs to be addressed now, and like I'm glad that OP is coming to Reddit, but I think it needs to go a little deeper than that. I feel like there needs to be conversations with your boyfriend in a very nice and loving way, but be like, hey, I'm not attracted to this. I don't know what it is just yet, and I'm trying to figure it out. And it's not going to be a pleasant conversation, but it's going to be something that's needed in order to progress forward. So that's kind of where I'm coming up from this. I'm trying to like think of like my final verdict if OP is that or not, because it's like I feel like OP's approach wouldn't make them that, but I think what they're feeling does. But like, can I give like half and half? Like, I don't fully know, because I think sometimes it's okay to like be an in the moment if you're trying to have like an honest conversation and actually fix the issue. And that's what I think OP is trying to do. Like, I think it's a very different verdict. OP is coming onto Reddit to bash her boyfriend for wearing earrings and feeling entitled to that or feeling right to tell him what to wear. But OP is not feeling that way. And it's more like, hey, I know these feelings I have are wrong. They're not nice. I don't know how to stop these feelings. I think that's something that at times in our life we all relate to. And it's like, I don't want to call OP an for trying her best through a very difficult circumstance. So I don't know about this one. You let me know in the comments what you think, if you think OP is an or not. That's it for today's earring drama, but there's more coming, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on my next video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, especially about that last story. You know, I had a lot of mixed feelings about it, and I would love to hear your insight. And until next time, remember to shine bright, be bold, and feel beautiful.